Okay, here's the plan. We're gonna get a little chow, then we're gonna sneak out of here, start looking for that seal.
Okay. Spotted dick, sir.
What?
Spotted dick.
Can you believe this guy? I'm trying to get something to eat. He's asking me if I got the clap.
I think he's offering you food.
Oh, spotted dick. Oh, no, I think I'll pass. I'm not really a dessert man. Perhaps my friend might like some spotted dick.
Welcome back to another episode of Front Row Cinema, a movie podcast for movie lovers by movie lovers. I am your host, TJ Trimboli, and with me, as always, my co-host, we got the Shanghai Kid in the building tonight, Mr. James O'Reilly.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going. And each week we take a look back at my 1,000 movies I've seen in theaters, and we see how well it's aged, along with the hype surrounding the film, its box office analysis, and legacy in the film industry. So if you enjoy this kind of content, hit that sub button on YouTube, leave that 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's how you help the channel grow. Jim, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching the sequel to Owen Wilson's answer to Rush Hour, Shanghai Nights.
Is right. The 2003 action comedy Shanghai Nights, directed by David Dobkin, written by Alfred Gouge,
Maybe?
Vincent Van Gogh, Alfred Go. We're gonna go with Go, Alfred Go, and Miles Millar, and starring Owen Wilson and Jackie Chan. And we're busting out, Jim, once again, our favorite thing out in the world, the DVD cover. And we're not as lucky as last week. We don't have as many great people espousing some great little clips for this movie. We've got KNX Radio chiming in on the cover here with incredible action and nonstop laughs.
KNX Radio?
Yeah, KNX Radio.
That's
Whoever
hilarious.
they are, wherever you are, KNX in the world, please let us know because I have never heard of you. But on the front
KNX
cover,
Radio, 97.1 Los Angeles. News and talk.
there we go. On the front, though, we do have Ebert and Roper give it 2 thumbs up. Whether it was Ebert or Roper, they do not specify.
What
But
if they actually both only gave it 1 thumb, but they're like saying it's like Ebert and Roper gave it 2 thumbs up between them.
yeah, they were like, listen, they both gave a thumb up. That's good enough for us. Put it on the cover. They're like, all right, we got you. But we turn to the back for our lovely log line, and it reads: when Chun Wen gets news of his estranged father's murder in Shanghai, he leaves his honorable life as Carson City sheriff in a cloud of dust and reunites with his yarn-spinning sidekick, Roy O'Bannon. Together, they make their way to London on a daring quest for honor and revenge. Hilarious escapades and hair-raising adventures ensue as our heroes find themselves in the middle of a devious plot to eliminate the entire royal family. And Sean gives Victorian Britain a royal kick in the pants as he tries to avenge his father's death and keep love-struck Roy away from his sister. Lot to unpack in that.
Yeah, I mean they pretty much nailed it though. That all happens in the movie. That was pretty good.
It does all happen. Kudos to you, Logline. Another classic in the books. Jim, did you see Shanghai Nights in theaters?
I probably did, yeah. I think I would have seen this in theaters, and I would have been disappointed. I remember not liking this when it first came out.
Were you a big like fan of this type of genre? Because obviously we've done Rush Hour 2 in the past. You know, we talked about how Rush Hour 2 is kind of like the apex of this type of like Jackie Chan with a lovable American sidekick and let him loose. Where would you place these in regards to that type of movie?
I mean, I think part of the reason why I didn't like this second one as much is because that's when I was starting to kind of like get into the too cool for school teenage years. But up until this, an action movie with Jackie Chan doing all kinds of like parkour and cool fight scenes, yeah, I was a fan of for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I remember really enjoying this one as a kid, especially because I loved the first one. Shanghai Noon was like one of my favorites.
Yeah, I
in
remember being a huge fan of that movie when it
Yeah.
first came out.
Yeah, I remember loving that movie. So as soon as they were like a sequel, I was like, yeah, absolutely, let's go. So Big Rob back in the saddle, taking the boys to the movies again. And I remember we loved it. I've watched this movie a few times since it had come out back then. I hadn't seen it in a while when we watched it for this time, but I remember growing up in high school, I used to go back to this in Shanghai Noon like a lot. Because
Yeah,
it's
it's like one of those the Shanghai series, the Shanghai universe, I guess. Like it's one of those movies that honestly until you brought it up last time, I completely forgot they existed. You know what I mean? Like and I was like, "Oh yeah, there was like a western movie starring Owen Wilson and Jackie Chan. Like what about that thing? That's crazy."
slips through the cracks. Thankfully, we're here to bring it back to notoriety because it needs some notoriety because pretty interesting life at the box office. So let's cue it up, Jim. Let's dive into some box office numbers.
Numbers, dates, numbers, dates, array, dates, numbers. Show me the money.
All right, so Shanghai Nights opened the weekend of February 7th through the 9th, 2003. We've talked about this weekend a bunch of times, most recently in our last episode with Chicago. It also shares an opening weekend with our previous episode before that, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Did you see those movies in the same weekend? Did you double feature these?
No, I definitely didn't double feature them because How to Lose a Guy was a date movie. I don't think I probably didn't see Shanghai Nights, I would imagine, until the week after,
That makes sense.
if I had to guess.
But yeah, so we've talked about this week before. If you remember, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days opened number one. Shanghai Nights opened in second place with 19.6 million.
19.6, definitely on the lower side of things, especially here on our list. It's going to slot it in the 28th position out of 38 movies. It's going to put itself, yes, Jim, absolutely, absolutely appropriate for that right there. It slides itself just behind Shallow Hal's 22.5 and just ahead of Just Married's 17.5. Very, very, very sad. Very sad. Do we have a budget on Shanghai Nights?
Oh yeah, hold on, let me get the budget. $50 million budget.
All right, so like still I mean, still not a great opening weekend, but it's a modest budget. You could
No,
bounce
and
back from that.
again, in this time period, you can't discount the fact that this movie is gonna do well in home video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
probably the reason a sequel to Shanghai Noon exists is because it did so well in home video the first time. So
Absolutely.
to like 19.6 million, you're probably making your money back in theaters, and then everything after that is gravy. They got to be psyched with that.
Sure.
This week was also the 7th week of Chicago, which comes in third place with 10.
All right. All right.
Chicago. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing Chicago a lot in the box office rundown for quite some time.
Yeah, God, we gotta hope that our next movie's in like May, or else we're gonna be hearing about Chicago for like months.
Right, it's never going to go away. Weekend 2, it drops 43.7% down to 11 million and all the way down to 5th place.
Cool.
Just behind the opening weekend of The Jungle Book 2 in 4th.
Ooh, that's not great.
No, not great at all.
Not great.
This is that opening weekend with Daredevil, and yes, Chicago's hanging around in there in 3rd place. Weekend 3, Shanghai Nights is going to drop another 41%. So like two really healthy drops in those first couple of weeks as well. It's going to pull in 6.5 million, down in 7th place behind the 6th place opening that weekend, The Life of David Gale. Other notable opening that weekend, Old School was up there in 2nd.
Interesting.
Oh, and the Civil War movie, which I feel like we've talked about, believe it or not, pretty recently. All the way down in 8th.
Odds and Generals.
Gods and Generals with 4.7 million.
Classic.
Yeah. Weekend 4, Shanghai Nights is hanging in there. 22.7% drop down to 5 million, holding strong in 7th place.
Right. Holding on. Hold the line. And I get 5.
Weekend 5, 46.5% drop down to 2.7 million, drops to 9th place.
Oh, hanging on by a thread.
Just hanging in there. Let's see if it's
Holding
got
on
any
loosely.
Weekend 6, 42.4% drop down
It's
to
gone.
1.5 million
It's
in
gone.
12th place.
Yeah. Ooh, sorry, Shanghai Nights. But hey,
Yeah,
5 weeks seems to be the healthy average that movies are spending in the top 10. So I'm not going to name all of them because we're starting to get too many of them, but notable movies like Jurassic Park 3, X-Men, and Planet of the Apes. So, 5 weeks isn't horrible.
Yeah. And so there's some totals then. Domestic it finishes with 60.5 million. So
That's
not
yeah,
good.
just over the hump.
Yeah, not very good. International 27.9 million, which you got to figure that's mostly on the back of Jackie Chan, right? For a worldwide total of 88.3 million.
Which definitely goes to show why there wasn't a third in this
Yeah, I mean, right.
franchise.
This isn't a success. This isn't
Yeah,
a
no.
success. It's
Well,
definitely a
Jim,
failure.
you're definitely going to see how much of a not success it was when you see that it's going to come in the number 35 position behind Kangaroo Jack. Yes, very appropriate. And then ahead of Enough's 51.8. So definitely a failure in the studio's eyes. And you can see why we never got that third finale in the Shanghai universe.
They've got a straight to streaming movie in them for this, right? Don't
Oh, I
they?
think absolutely. Jim, I was saving it for later, but I think we could touch on it now. Is there a world where we can see a third in the Shanghai universe these days?
It just depends on how desperate Hollywood gets, how desperate Jackie Chan gets, how desperate Owen Wilson gets. But yeah, I think of course we definitely could. I really hope we don't. But
We got Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Night. We need what? Shanghai Dawn?
um I guess, but then like Shanghai. Oh, I literally just real
Shanghai Afternoon Lunch?
I literally just put together that Nights is a double entendre.
Oh, Jimbo, Jimbo,
Like
Jimbo.
I was like, yeah, but it's Knights with a K, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, okay, I see what he's saying.
There you He got there. He got there,
Uh,
folks.
I guess I don't know. What? Here's the real question: do you have any idea what it's about?
I would imagine that with this one, they got to do what they did for Rush Hour 2 and actually go to China, right? Because like we did Owen Wilson's land. You went to England on this one. You got to bring it back to his land, right?
I guess I don't know. Do you? I mean,
No.
that is what they did in Rush Hour. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also what they did in Karate Kid too. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Listen, it's a time and tested formula, Jim.
um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like,
So they either do that
yes, but
route.
like, what do they go back there for? That's what I want to know.
They'd have to come up with some silly MacGuffin that's going to bring him back there that he has to do for like his people or whatever. Or maybe like Owen Wilson just went back with them and they live there now because Owen Wilson got with his sister at the end of this one. So maybe he just decided to go live out the rest of his days in Imperial China.
No. And like, I'm cool with that, but only if that's where the movie starts and it's like Jackie Chan has to go back to China to convince Owen Wilson to come back with him to the United States. Like there's something going on.
Ooh, that's
So
not bad.
you get like
The
Owen
best of
Wilson
both
like in like
worlds.
a fish out of water kind of thing, like in his own home, you know?
Yeah, that's not bad. Especially because like you would think that Jackie Chan would go back to being the sheriff of Carson City. So like maybe there's a new threat that comes in that like Owen Wilson has a past with and he needs him back.
Yeah, I don't know, something stupid like that. But
Yeah,
like this is
something.
not.
There we go. I listen. That's something. That's building blocks right there. I do like that idea though that it's kind of like inversed and switched. That it's like Jackie Chan is living the American life and Owen Wilson is living like the life in Imperial China. Like I think that's
Yeah, and
funny.
you get kind of that like Men in Black 2 vibe where it's like Owen Wilson needs to get brought back to his roots, you know what I mean? Like where like he's like not the same guy when he's not in Nevada.
That is good. But listen, when we're in the pitch meeting, don't bring up Men in Black 2 to the executives. That might not go the way we hope.
No, why not?
Don't think that one was so much of a success at the box office there, Jimbo.
Was it? I thought it was good. That's the one where he's like working at the post office, right?
And fucking Johnny Knoxville's got like the two heads.
Yeah. the Balchinians.
Oh my god.
But
Oh
no,
god.
yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I also don't think they need to make a third one of these movies. I really hope they don't.
But we don't live in that world. We're gonna live in the world where we're gonna get that Netflix streaming movies at some point.
Yeah, I mean, they made a Beverly Hills Cop 4, right? Anything's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, right. We got Axel F that just dropped. Like at this point, all bets are off. Anything can happen in this universe we call this timeline.
They're just literally throwing anything at the fucking wall.
Throwing anything at the wall. And listen, when you got a movie like Shanghai Nights, which got a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 54% audience score, you can damn well rest assured we're gonna get a 20-year later sequel.
What was its cinema score?
Oh, Jim, I was surprised to see this. Finally, we're not getting in the A- territory anymore.
Oh no.
Shanghai
Everybody gets
Nights.
an A minus.
Shanghai Nights pulling in the same score as Signs with a B plus.
Ooh, that's a real stinging cinema score. That's like among the worst we've seen.
Yeah, to dip out of an A is
Right?
that's not
B
yeah,
plus
not
is the lowest one we've seen, right?
yeah, B plus so far is the lowest one that we've encountered.
Like,
And then
dude, if you
a
get a B plus cinema
6.2.
score, you might as well just pack it up, dude.
It's true, yeah. You gotta
Nobody gets a B plus.
you just go home at this point because your goose is cooked. And then a 6.2 from the IMDb team. So definitely a middling critical reception, which I think kind of falls in line with my thoughts on the movie. So I think we could dive into this, Jim. What about you? How did you feel about the Shanghai Nights?
I mean, so like it's not very funny, which is a problem, right? Like if you're trying to be like a funny Owen Wilson movie, you got to be funny, you know? And it's not very funny.
Yeah, it is not. I think the worst part about the comedy in this is that they just go to the well of who were things that people would recognize in London. They're like, we'll make jokes about Sherlock Holmes. We'll make jokes about Jack the Ripper. Like they just try to do too much silly meta humor for the time.
Yeah.
And so much of it just falls flat. Like the kid, the rapscallion turns out to be Charlie Chaplin. It's like,
Yeah, it's so
why?
terrible. Was
Yeah,
Charlie
like
Chaplin even actually English? I didn't even know that.
I have no idea, and I didn't care to look it up once and that's the worst thing is that like it showed it, and instead of it like piquing your interest to be like, huh, let me look into that, you were just kind of like, oh god damn it, this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time they do it, I'm just like, dude, like please stop. Like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, like is just like running the Scotland Yard, like
Yeah, that was maybe my least favorite part at the end when the queen was like knighting all of them and she's like, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And I was like, oh god damn it. Like
it's like one of those ones where you're just like it detracts from like the actual like humor that you could find in these settings, which
you
is
know
weird
what?
because like they do it really well in Shanghai Noon is they ape those moments in like an Old West setting pretty well that like work. Like it's still silly, but at least it's more like heartwarmingly silly that like you can get with. Where in this it's just like gratingly annoying.
Yeah, I mean I get what you're saying. That was kind of a similar thing, right? With like the old like the popular names that weren't really popular. Like what doesn't one of them call themselves John Wayne, right?
Well, that's Jackie Chan's like actual name is Chon. It's Chon Chon Wang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
they're like, that's a terrible cowboy name. And like it's just stupid enough in that movie to work, but it's one of those jokes that like it'll work good. Like you'll get me the first time, but if you do it again, like I'm not gonna laugh as much. And then in this one, they're like, well, we're gonna do it all over the place again. And it's like, no, stop it.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? That scene in Solo when he's like signing
Oh
up and they're like,
yeah.
"What's your last name?" And
What's your
he's,
name? Han. And
but you
what's your
don't got a
last name?
family.
I don't have a last name. No last name, huh? Han Solo. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
you
like a lot of
sons of
those
bitches.
where it's like, "Hey, it was me the whole time, Charlie Chaplin." You know what I mean? Like it's like so stupid. You
Yeah,
know, I
it's
can't take it.
yeah, it's brutal. So like yeah, so and like the humor there, it definitely falls flat throughout this movie. But where I think this movie excels, of which naturally like it's hard for them to fumble that, is in the action department because Jackie Chan is such a inventive, like when it comes to like staging action scenes.
Yeah, watching Jackie Chan have fights is really fun. It's
And it's the
like
bread
he
and butter
always
of
gets the most out of it, you know?
yeah, and it's the bread and butter of these movies because it blows my mind that for the amount of movies that he's done, he always finds a way in whichever movie he's in to make the fights unique to that movie. Like when he's fighting the like dirty henchmen that are trying to get the watch from the kid, like the pickpockets. And
Yeah.
he's got the one scene where like he's standing on top of like a wooden crate with the knife underneath it. And every time like the guy goes to reach for it, like he just does like the fake out, like he's gonna like drop it on him.
Yep,
And like they
yep.
just go back and forth. And it's like it's just such a uniquely like small moment, but it's just so like fun.
Yeah, yeah, no, he's the king of those. Yeah, there's always a lot going on and he's like telling a story throughout the fight. Like that's like what
Exactly.
I would say Jackie Chan is like the king of. You know what I mean? It's not
He's
just like
so
choreographed punches and kicks. Like there's like a lot of like old school like Charlie Chaplin-esque kind of filmmaking going on. You know what I mean? Like where things are escalating and like the fights evolve and like yeah, they tell you a story just in that little micro thing of the fight.
that pickpocket one, I think, is probably the shining example from the movie. Like, there's just so many fun beats to it. Like when he's up on the roof and like they're jumping on like the overhangs, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he's using those to like launch them off of it. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
he's
it's
so
so much fun.
athletic, dude.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
so athletic. It's like amazing to watch.
it's so much fun, and so that definitely helps make this movie watchable, and get you over the finish line because I can watch Jackie Chan fight scenes all day and never get tired of them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great ones in this for sure.
Yeah, it's just such a shame that it comes at the expense of like some very tired comedy. And like the comedy in it that does work, I think is more between like the when they just let the two of them just kind of like riff and banter with each other. Cause like I think their chemistry with each other, it works well. Like I like Jackie Chan's shtick in this is always like so funny playing against Owen Wilson. And then the same thing in Rush Hour when he plays against like Chris Tucker. Like he just works well playing against like a loudmouth or like just someone who just like rambles.
Yeah.
And I think they could have done more to do more of that and less of the just the like meta silly humor of like mixing in people from like London lore.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean right. It was like the kind of like the Shanghai kid goes to London kind of feel, you know, for sure.
Which is such a shame because there are moments of this that like do have me like laughing at times. Like I did chuckle and laugh when like Jackie Chan does the whole like no, you don't get with Owen Wilson because he's a piece of shit. And then like the way he like becomes friends with them again is they just have like the pillow fight and like in the pillow fight like the just like that random like shirtless dude just keeps showing up in it. Like
Yeah,
that got
very
that
silly.
yeah,
Very,
like
very
that was
silly.
silly, but like that got me. I was like, all right, yeah, like that's fine. I got that. That one cracks me up. Like, yeah, you got me.
Yeah. Also, the villain being Peter Baelish is so funny.
Yeah, dude, that is fucking so yeah. Talk about that guy coming out of left field. Like when he shows
Yeah.
up, it's so fun. And dude, he looks so young here too.
Yeah, well, dude, much like Dominic West in Chicago, it's like the first time I saw this movie, I had no idea who that guy was. You know what I mean? So he didn't really stick out. But now looking back, it's like, oh my God, he was in that? No way. That's so wild.
So funny. And like but dude, like their plan is so fucking dumb.
Yeah, well, it's your classic 10th in line to the throne
Yeah.
plan, dude. You gotta
He's
kill everybody
10th,
in one fell
yeah,
swoop.
he's 10th in line, and their plan is to just machine gun them at a fireworks display.
Yeah, which is so stupid.
It's so dumb. Oh my god, it's so funny. But also, like another one is how do you fumble? We've got Jackie Chan. We got fucking martial arts master Donnie Yen. They're gonna square off. Their fight scene starts, and we keep cutting away to other stuff.
Yeah,
It's like, what are you doing? Like, I want you should be giving me at least 7 minutes of them uninterrupted, and just let them go haywire, like using the space around them. Like, you should
yeah.
not be cutting away
I
for any
mean,
nonsense.
it's probably a better movie if they did.
Another notable that guy. You realize who played Charlie Chaplin, right?
No, who was it?
That kid is Aaron Taylor Johnson.
No way.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
because I remember like as the movie starting and I'm watching the credits and it comes up like Aaron Johnson. I'm like, Aaron Johnson. I'm like, there's no way that's like him, right? And like and so I pull it up immediately and it comes up and it like, yeah, I'm like, oh shit, like nope, yeah, that's him. He plays fucking Charlie Chaplin. I'm like, that's so fucking funny.
That's a pretty good pull. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
pretty good
that's a
out
hard
there
pull
that guy.
as a that guy. Is a fucking Aaron Taylor Johnson getting his start in Shanghai Nights. It's yeah,
I'm trying to think, was there anybody else good in this movie? I don't think so, right?
no, dude, no. Zero. Zero good people in this movie. Just so there's just so much nonsense in this movie.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible all around. It has that really tired, like, British guards, they can't move, but if you touch them, they can do something back. Like, it has that whole thing, like, where they're messing with the guard.
It's so much of the humor in it is just like tired jokes that you've seen 1,000 times and just humor that's just like been done to death about British people.
Yeah. Well, and, like, I get why they try and lean into some of that stuff, because, like, the whole point is Owen Wilson plays kind of like an arrogant, ignorant American. But it's also, like, that doesn't make it any less tired, you know?
Exactly. Like there's only so many times you can give me the ignorant American before it's like, yeah, like I get it. I've seen this. Or like if you're gonna do it, maybe find a different way other than just doing the classic, like, hey, like he's gonna go touch the British Guard. Like you can't touch the Royal Guard.
Yeah, I guess. I just, like, I don't know. What else is there to even do?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
the Sherlock, like you said, the Sherlock Holmes thing is, like, so stupid. It really is just like, hey, here's some stuff people have heard of about London. Remember this stuff, guys? You know, it's, like, very bad.
it's just horrible when it comes to that type of humor, which just leaves it just being like, and thank God for Jackie Chan action because it helps save this movie from just being an absolute just slog to get through.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that really is why we're all there, right? Is to watch Jackie Chan do some fun stuff. So
Yeah,
it's like,
we're
I
there
mean, I
to
guess it delivers in that sense, but
yeah, it delivers in the sense that you're there for Jackie Chan to do fun stuff. You're also hoping for the other flip of the coin, which is Owen Wilson to actually like have like funny things to do and say. And that never really comes across in like any of this. And I love how they just like can gloss over in the beginning that like Owen Wilson is an absolutely horrible friend.
yeah,
Like
he's
he
really
took all the
terrible.
gold that you saved in the first movie and he just fucking spent it.
Yeah, he's really not so good.
You just gotta like, that's just Roy. It's
It
like,
also has, like, the very classic, like, early 2000s, like, Jackie Chan's sister falls in love with Roy like 6 minutes after meeting him. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like she shows up like Owen Wilson smitten immediately, and then as soon as like Jackie Chan says something, she's just like, Roy wouldn't do that, and it's like, girl, you've known him for
yeah,
five
she's like,
seconds.
I see to his heart, or like whatever. It's like, you've, like, he's literally been on screen with you for 5 minutes, not even.
It's like, girl, like no wonder Jackie Chan is like being a hard brother to you. Like you're clearly a moron.
Yeah. Because Owen Wilson also not a good guy. Like, that's
Yeah,
like his whole thing is that he's like kind of a philanderer.
yeah, it's a rapscallion.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything Jackie Chan said to her, like that Owen Wilson overheard, it was like all of that was fair play. Like
Right.
he didn't say one thing that was out of pocket.
Yeah, which is like, right, everything was like the dead on truth, which is why it's so funny that Owen Wilson gets offended by it.
Yeah, God, it's just no, what a movie.
But yeah, it's not very good. It's not
Yeah,
one of my
it's
favorites.
it's not great. It's thank God for some great Jackie Chan action in it because other than that, this movie would have been a tough watch to get through. And
I mean, it was a tough watch to get through. Let's not pull any punches here. It was
I
not
mean,
very good.
it wasn't, but it definitely wasn't as hard of a watch as some of these other movies have been that we've had to sift through. So I'll at least give it for me here. I'll give it the olive branch that it wasn't like I wasn't sitting there literally like wanting to like pull my eye sockets out like we have with some of these other movies we've had to watch. So I'll at least give it a little kudos there.
Yeah, that's fair. Um,
And I think that's about the nicest thing I could say for the movie.
yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about it is the thing. Like, it's like, what is there really to talk about?
Yeah, it's just like It's a dumb action comedy that has some really like solid and great action scenes from Jackie Chan, and then some pretty like outdated and tired jokes from about England. And that's all I got.
Yeah, basically the same here.
All right. So I think that puts a nice little nail in that coffin, Jim, that we could turn our attention over to some IMDb deep dive.
All right, so I'm gonna
Very.
start this deep dive a little differently.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna deep dive into some awards.
Awards. Okay.
Yeah, because this movie has 5 awards nominations on here.
Really?
Yeah, so we're gonna dive real deep into the awards nominations on Shanghai Nights.
All right. Let's
Uh,
hear them. Let's hear them.
So it was nominated for 2 MTV Movie and TV Awards.
Oh, there we go. Now we're talking. Forget Academy Awards, baby.
It was nominated for 2003's Best On-Screen Team with Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson. And
Oh
then
my
it was
God.
nominated for 2003's Best Fight with Fan Wong, who is, I believe, the woman who played Jackie Chan's sister.
All right.
Her
I mean,
Fight
like
versus the Palace Guards was nominated as Best Fight.
that's the one that gets of all the fights in the movie. That's the one that gets the rub.
Yep. It's nominated for a 2003 Teen Choice Award
Oh, baby. There we go.
for movie fight / action sequence. No details on which sequence got nominated in this for the Teen Choice Awards.
Okay.
It was also nominated in 2004 for the Taurus World Stunt Awards.
Okay.
Best fight. Jackie Chan fights with many stuntmen for the marketplace fight.
So Jackie Chan fights many stuntmen.
Yeah.
Big win. Big win.
Market. Well, no. It didn't win. It was nominated.
All right.
None of these
Good.
are wins. These are all
Big-
nominations.
Now I'd do we know what beat it?
Well, so
These are huge.
bring up the 2003 MTV Movie and TV Awards really fast.
These are huge noms, Jim, and I can't believe they're
the
not
one
winning.
that I'm most interested in seeing is who won Best On-Screen Duo in 2000.
That's what I'm saying. In 2003, oh, I wonder if it was Jack Sparrow and Will Turner.
Maybe. So let's see. 2003 MTV Movie Awards.
I've never been so excited to hear the answer to these wins.
Let's see. I think. Okay, so here was the other nominees for Best On-Screen Team in the 2003 MTV Movie Awards. Johnny Knoxville, Bam Margera, Steve-O, and Chris Pontius
Oh boy.
for Jackass the movie.
Yep, that'll do it.
Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, and Luke Wilson for Old School.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
And then we have Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson for Shanghai Nights.
Okay.
Kate Bosworth, Michelle Rodriguez, and Snow Lake for Blue Crush.
Rush. Amazing.
And then the ultimate winners of Best On-Screen Team, I would say very deservedly, given the rest of these nominees, Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, and Gollum.
Oh yeah, all right. Yep, that tracks.
Which I think it's so funny that they listed as Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, like the 2 actors, and then Gollum.
like didn't do Andy
no
Serkis.
love for Andy Serkis at all.
That's so funny. Like that's so silly.
And then let's just look at the other thing here. Nominations. The other MTV Movie Award that it was nominated for was Best Fight.
Okay.
So this is actually really fun. I'm having a good time with this. Also nominated that year. So we had Fan Wong versus the Palace Intruders from Shanghai Nights was the one.
Okay.
Jackass gets another nomination here. Johnny Knoxville versus Butterbean for Jackass the movie. Which, honestly, arguably the most memorable fight for me from this list. Like, I still remember when he fought Butterbean and how insane that was.
Yeah, that was in like the department store, right?
Yeah. They had like a little makeshift ring, and he got knocked
Yeah.
out in like 1 second. I will
Second.
never. I still have it, like the memory of it, like the picture
Yeah.
of it.
And he like comes to after being knocked out and he's like, is Butterbean okay?
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville versus Butterbean does not win though. Just another
Wow.
nominee.
All right.
Jet Li versus the Ultimate Fighters for Cradle to the Grave.
Oh boy.
That's Cradle number 2, the grave.
Oh boy.
And then the last nominee and ultimate winner of the 2003 MTV Movie Award for Best Fight, Yoda versus Christopher Lee for Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones.
Big. All right. There we go.
Which-
Big wins.
Another just like spectacular instance of like using an actor's name, like Yoda
The
versus
character.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
So funny.
That's so amazing.
And that was it for MTV Movie Awards. Do we want to try and look up the 2003 Teen Choice Awards?
If you want to.
I mean, let's do it because this was kind of a short episode in terms of like content for the actual movie. So let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go
let's,
look
like-
up the 2003 Teen
let's-
Choice Awards. Why not?
Yeah, gotta see what it keeps getting beat out by.
Okay. So just to give some context here, here's the Shanghai Nights was not up in this category.
Okay.
But here is the Teen Choice Movie Drama Action Adventure category
Ooh, all right.
from the 2003 Teen Choice Awards. The Matrix Reloaded,
Boy.
8 Mile,
Oh boy.
Blue Crush,
Oh boy.
Bulletproof Monk.
One of these movies is not like the other.
I'm not sure. Well, actually, yeah. Okay, so far one of them is very different. Yeah,
You said it was
Uh,
action adventure, right?
it's drama / action.
Ah,
adventure. I would say
okay,
this is the
alright,
Teen
then that-
Choice Award equivalent of Best Picture.
Okay,
That's-
'cause,
that's
like,
how
it's
I'm
weird-
looking at
I
it.
thought you said action adventure because I'm like, why the fuck is 8 Mile in there with the rest of these movies?
No, it's drama / action adventure.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. Still funny though.
Yeah, so it's Matrix Reloaded, 8 Mile, Blue Crush, Bulletproof Monk, Daredevil,
Fucking bulletproof mug.
Drumline,
My God, what movies are they nominating?
The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Dude,
Now one of these movies ain't like the others.
like we
and
just
then-
picked a bunch of like somewhat decent to like middling movies, and then there's the Lord of the Rings in there.
Yeah, well, it's the Teen Choice Awards from 2003, dude. This is
Yeah,
was
but,
all the
like-
hot teen movies.
But even as teens, like you cannot tell you. I want to go back to 2003 and ask any teen to name me Bulletproof Monk, and think that's
Yeah,
holding up.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. The ultimate winner of that category was The Matrix.
Was
Reloaded,
Bulletproof
by
Monk?
the way.
Oh,
No. Oh, and last but not least, X2 X-Men United was also nominated. Which can we start a Teen Choice Awards podcast where we just break down in detail each year
Every-
of the Teen Choice Awards?
every year the Teen Choice Awards. That would be a fun slew of episodes to do. We just break down how absurd the Teen Choice Awards are.
I kind of want to do a Teen Choice Award mini-series. I don't know.
I would not be
but-
opposed to that.
In the meantime, I need to find the best fight category because that's what Shanghai Nights was nominated in.
My God.
Like,
Like,
really
how
quick,
did Bulletproof Monk get nominated in that best category? Like, and not Shanghai Nights.
I don't know. Well, no, because it wasn't. I guess it was an action adventure. Yeah, that's fair.
So silly.
It wasn't a drama, but it was an action adventure. See, I wonder if there was like comedy awards too. I wonder if it got nominated for any of the. Well, no, I know it didn't get nominated actually because we would have saw it in the nominations.
It was
But
only good enough for fights.
there's a lot of good stuff going on here, dude. Like, so when I don't want to get too into it right now because this is not a Teen Choice Awards podcast, but
Yet.
the Teen Choice Movie Actress Comedy category is Queen Latifah for Bringing Down the House, Jennifer Aniston for Bruce Almighty, Hilary Duff for the Lizzie McGuire movie,
My God.
Kate Hudson for How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Jennifer Lopez for Made in Manhattan, Brittany Murphy for Just Married, and Reese Witherspoon for Sweet Home Alabama.
Dude.
Was there a better year for rom-coms than 2003?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
there-
But that was like so
That's
many
tough.
nominations.
I know. There's so many good ones.
It's almost like they just
dude,
took
I'm
every
looking through
rom-com that
this.
came out and like nominated the woman that was in it.
Okay, I finally found Best Fight. It was right next to the teen choice for movie Hissy Fits.
Oh my god.
Are
These
you
are
like not
these are the
totally
real
sold on the Teen Choice Awards podcast?
these are the real the real nitty-gritty right here. The
This is what I want to be
movie
talking
hissy
about,
fits.
dude. Movie Hissy Fits.
Oh my
All
god.
right, so this year, where is it? Okay, it is here. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So the 2003 Teen Choice for movie fight / action sequence. It is the same sequence from the other awards, by the way, that is nominated. Fan Wong versus the Palace Guards.
Okay.
It's up against Keanu Reeves versus Hugo Weaving for The Matrix Reloaded.
Okay.
Queen Latifah versus Missy Pyle from Bringing Down the House.
Oh my god.
Just amazing.
One of these fights is not like the other.
Hugh Jackman versus Kelly Hu for X-Men 2, X-Men United, X2 X-Men United.
Okay.
Vin Diesel versus Martin Kyokas. He's from New Zealand for Triple X.
Chakas, Martin Chakas.
Sure, Martin Chakas. That sounds right. The Battle for Helm's Deep from the Lord of the Rings.
Oh my, if
Which
that
is
did
like-
not win, I swear to God.
This is my favorite part about the Teen Choice Awards is that it's just like a bunch of ridiculous movies, and then just somehow in every category, The Lord of the Rings is
The
also
Rings is in there.
nominated. It's like in this category, it's like Paul Walker versus Tyrese for Too Fast, Too Furious.
You went-
versus The
it's absurd.
Battle
You-
for Helm's Deep.
Yeah, you go from like the minuscule, which is Queen Latifah versus Missy Pyle and Bringing
Right.
Down the House, all the way up to like the literal Battle of Helm's Deep. It's like, what are we
Right,
even
like,
talking
the,
about?
the biggest medieval battle ever put on screen, like the Battle for Helm's Deep, versus
so-
Queen Latifah versus Missy Pyle and Bringing Down the House.
It's so absurd.
Real quick though, the last couple, I just said the Paul Walker versus Tyrese for Too Fast, Too Furious. Ben Affleck versus Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin, and Daredevil is also in here. And the ultimate winner of that category is Paul Walker versus Tyrese for Too Fast, Too Furious, beating
Fuck
out the
off.
Battle for Helm's Deep as an
Like-
action sequence.
Like, what are we talking about?
The teens have spoken, TJ. The
Dude.
teens have spoken. Paul Walker versus Tyrese.
These fucking teens, man. My God. Like, oh my God.
I don't know that we can really top the Teen Choice Award, so I don't
Yeah,
think
I
I'm
don't-
gonna look up the Taurus World Stunt Award.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can. I don't think anything's gonna beat getting beat out by Paul Walker and Tyrese
just-
Gibson.
What I do want to look up though, this seems pretty important. 2004, it's nominated. Aaron Taylor Johnson is actually nominated for Best Performance in a Feature Film Supporting Young Actor for a Young Artist Award.
Like, yeah, sure, why not?
Let's see if we can see who else was up for the 2004 Young Artist Awards.
And to be like, what, Dakota Fanning?
Let's see, it's on IMDb. We're really deep into it here.
Abigail Breslin, run out of child actors from 2003.
Oh no, that was the leading young actor category. Okay, yeah, so here we go. The 2004 Young Actor Awards, Young Artist Awards.
Okay.
Supporting young actor in a feature film. Aaron Taylor Johnson for Shanghai Nights. Harry Newell for Peter Pan. We are so in the weeds right now. Cleo Thomas from Holes. I believe he played Zero in Holes.
Oh my God. Okay.
Mark John Jeffries from Eddie Murphy's 2003 amazing movie Haunted Mansion.
Oh my god.
Noah Poletiuk from Holes.
Dude, what is
And
even
then
happening?
Thomas Brody Sangstar from Love Actually, who I'm assuming played the kid in Love Actually.
Yeah, he would go on to play in Game of Thrones, Jojen Reed.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just goes to show you, not everybody who was in the Young Artist Awards is as well known as Aaron Taylor
Taylor
Johnson.
Johnson. Yeah, I'd say definitely Aaron Taylor Johnson was the cream of the crop there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
They really knew he
Um,
was going places.
yeah. The Bernie Mac show is also up for some stuff here.
Oh my god. All right, you're
But all
two in
right,
the
that's
weeds.
enough
You're
of the
two in the
awards. That's
weeds.
enough of the awards. We should have stopped at the Teen Choice Awards. We were right on that front.
Oh my
And then
god.
this week, I think for deep dive, we're gonna take another quick look at the director.
Okay.
Because the director has some interesting stuff going on in his career. He directs like mostly comedy movies, I think. Like this is like the first like real feature. He does a bunch of music videos in the 90s. Including a Coolio music video, which is
Oh, now we're talking.
pretty badass. Um, do you know what the movie Clay Pigeons is? I've never heard of this.
No, I've never heard of it.
Me neither. Then 2003 Shanghai Nights. 2005, he has a credit that I think is going to be hard for him to top. 2005, he directs Wedding Crashers.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like
Links up with Owen Wilson again for an all-time
might
hard R
might
comedy
be
classic.
one of the greatest comedies of our generation.
Yeah, really funny movie. 2007, are you going to take Shanghai Nights or are you going to take he links up with Vince Vaughn again after Wedding Crashers? Are
Oh
you going to
god,
take
here we go.
2007's Fred Claus?
Dude, that's such a fucking oh my god.
That's a tough pick, right? Like
Fuck. That's a fucking oh my god. I'm gonna take Shanghai Nights just because at least I get some Jackie Chan action out of the equation.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I see where you're going with that. All right, are you going to take Shanghai Nights or 2011's Jason Bateman, Ryan Reynolds, body switch comedy, The Change Up?
Oh man. I'll take the change up. That's a funny movie.
I am gonna take The Change Up as well. I haven't seen that in a minute, but it's got to be better than Shanghai Nights.
One can only hope.
He directs a TV. He does a episode of a TV series called Friends with Benefits. It's not the movie.
I'm
He does another. He does a Maroon 5 music video in here.
oh my god.
He directs one episode of Iron Fist.
Ooh, okay.
yeah.
Poor bastard.
And then yeah, there's not really many more movies here. He does a couple episodes of a TV show called Sugar in 2018.
Okay.
He's got 3 more Maroon 5 music videos here.
Dude, guy, big fan of
He
Maroon 5.
directs. Did you ever see that 2020 Will Ferrell movie about Eurovision?
No, I remember seeing the trailer for it, but I'd never watched it.
He directed that movie. And then he's got one episode here of Resident Alien. That
Oh,
Alan
there you
Tudyk
go, right up
show.
your alley.
Yeah. So he did, and then last but not least, there's a 4th Maroon 5 music video here in 2023.
Oh, man.
Upcoming, apparently there's a Wedding Crashers 2 in development. I'm gonna file
Yeah,
that under.
sure.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm gonna file that under please don't.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna file that under. Do we really need to? Like,
Yeah,
really,
right.
really?
I'll take please don't do that for 200, Alex.
Yeah. And then I think we're gonna get to our main event here. We've already done Jackie Chan. I am sure we'll get to Owen Wilson again. We are gonna go to the screenwriters, who I believe are a duo for most of the movies we're talking about here. Most of the movies and TV
Alright.
we're talking about here.
Who are they? Can you pronounce that guy's name for me? No, I'm not the only one.
Alfred Go, Are you going to them all later? No,
Yeah,
it's
all right, yeah.
Alfred Go. I'm gonna say Go,
Okay.
and then Miles Millar,
All right.
whose names I may not know how to pronounce, but I am very familiar with a lot of the things that they've written. So that's maybe
Yep.
more important than knowing how to pronounce their names. So really quick, we are going to start with some of these guys' TV credits because they are the creators and I believe ultimately showrunners of one of the long-time like CW television shows. They developed for television the show Smallville.
Ah, okay. I've actually never seen a single episode of Smallville.
I watched a little bit of Smallville like way back in the day because that show came on in like 2001.
Mm.
But yeah, it's like that teen like take on Superman before he's really like in Metropolis. He's still back in Smallville,
Yeah.
and that was on TV for a long time. It ran for like a few hundred episodes, I believe.
Yeah. 10 years. Went from 2001 to 2011.
Yeah, and then I mean, so that's a big TV credit. They also created the recent Netflix show Wednesday with Jenna Ortega.
Ah, okay. I didn't watch that either.
Yeah, I watched it. It was okay. It was pretty good. I'm definitely down to watch a second season of it. As streaming TV shows go, it was not bad.
Okay.
But let's take a look at some of their movie credits because I think those are going to be the real heavy hitters here.
Okay.
So in 1997, they're credited with Double Tap.
Never heard of that.
What is Double Tap? It's Heather Locklear movie. It looks very bad.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Ray, isn't it?
That's all I need to know about that.
Yeah. 1998. One of them here has a story by credit on Lethal Weapon 4.
Ooh.
Then there's like a couple of like non sequitur kind of things. There's some movie Made Men in 1999. I don't know what the heck that is.
Never heard of that.
And then 2000 Shanghai Noon is like probably
Classic.
the first big like hit, right?
Classic. Right out the gate.
Then I'm gonna ask you. Well, I guess so. I'm gonna ask you. Do you take Shanghai Noon or Shanghai Nights?
Shanghai Noon all day.
Shanghai Noon, right? For sure. So then my next question: do you take Shanghai Nights or 2002's Showtime?
Jesus Christ.
It's pretty good this or that. That's the Eddie Murphy one where he's
Yeah.
trying to be like a TV cop.
Yeah. Fucking. I'll stick with Shanghai Nights.
Okay, I'm taking Showtime. Like
Yeah.
easy.
Your funeral.
I want to watch it again, but then 2003 gets a characters and written by credit for Shanghai Nights. 2004, I am interested to see if this is the only credit because it seems like they got a writing credit. Here it says screen story. I'm interested to see who got the actual like credit for this. But 2004's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, looking at it, it looks like they had a hand in the story, but the screenplay is actually credited to Alvin Sargent and only him.
Interesting. Okay.
So it looks like maybe they were like cracking the story and then passed it off to that guy to write.
Yeah, so at least they had a part in what was like one of the biggest superhero movies of all time at that point.
Yeah.
This next one, there's no debate about what they did on it because
Oh God.
2005. Are you gonna take Shanghai Nights or 2005's Lindsay Lohan vehicle?
Already
Literally vehicle.
Already out.
Herbie Fully Loaded.
Oh my God. Undeniable. We went from Spider-Man 2 to Herbie Fully Loaded.
This one they got the screenplay credit on.
Oh, of course they did.
Like you can't take that away from them.
I'm sticking with Shanghai Nights. I know you're taking. I know you.
Dude,
I knew you want. The second you said Lindsay Lohan, I knew where your heart lied.
Right? Wasn't Michael Keaton and Herbie Fully Loaded?
I think so.
I'm looking right now. Yeah, he was. It was Lindsay Lohan, Michael Keaton, and Cheryl Hines.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
God, and Justin Long, Matt Dillon was like the race car driver in it. How could you not
Oh,
take Herbie Fully Loaded?
oh
You're
my
a
God.
disgrace.
Watch me.
um, all right, do you take Shanghai Nights or 2008's The Mummy: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor?
Oh, I hate that movie. Shanghai
Really?
Nights. Yeah, dude, that movie's
I have
awful.
still never seen Mummy: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, so I
Yeah,
guess I
dude,
have to
it's
take Shanghai Nights by default.
not good, bro.
Um, do you take Shanghai Nights or 2011's I Am Number 4?
Dude, there's a movie. I am number
These
four.
are some good this or that's. Like, it's
Yeah,
hard for me to say whether these are better than Shanghai Nights or not.
I would take I am number four.
I don't know that I've ever seen I Am Number 4 either, so I cannot pick.
It's not great, but definitely better than Shanghai Nights.
Yeah, fair enough. And then, so, okay, so, wow, okay, hold on. We've got a lot to unpack here.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy.
So, I missed a couple of television things here.
Okay.
It looks like they also created a show called Into the Badlands
Never heard of it.
that has like a 32 episode run. I think I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. And then the Shannara Chronicles. So they're like
Never heard of that either.
they're creating a lot of teen television. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. That's basically like the Shannara Chronicles is definitely like a teeny bopper kind of show.
Sounds like a yeah.
So, but then let's look at the upcoming writing credits.
Okay.
This is on Alfred Go's page specifically.
This is what we got in the
Uh,
tank.
He's got upcoming The Machine screenplay. It says it's in production. I don't know. That can't be the Burt Kreischer movie, right? Like,
Yeah, I hope not.
it can't. No, it's not. After a human-like machine is reactivated by an innocent kid, the device relies on its ultimate array of skills to protect the boy and his family from government forces who decommissioned it 20 years earlier.
Interesting.
Okay, so that's one of the upcomings. He also has, it looks like, more stuff for Wednesday. All right, they're doing a season 2 of that show.
Okay.
He's getting, right now it says he's got a screenplay by and a story by credit on Beetlejuice.
Interesting.
And then last but not least, it's put down as in production,
God.
but upcoming Shanghai Dawn.
Oh, Jimbo. I am right on the money.
Did you see this before we talked about this?
I swear to God, I did not see anything about a sequel.
All it says here is that it is directed by Jared Hess,
Oh God.
and the only logline is the continuing adventures of former Chinese Imperial Guard Chan Wang and American bandit Roy O'Bannon.
So that's good enough.
Yeah, so I mean it's listed as in production.
Oh no. Well,
Trivia, the film was in development since 2003, so it
oh
seems
boy,
like
yeah. So
not unlikely that it's gonna
still gestating.
happen. Yeah, it's gone through a lot of rewrites.
I'll file that also under things I hope to never see for 200, Alex.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do it at this point. I can't imagine that they would.
No, I don't see it coming. I'm just happy I got the title right. That's a win right there.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't a bad guess.
Jim, this is the perfect time for us to hit the pitch meeting. We can get this thing out of development hell.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it's been missing all these 20 years is us. That's
Jackie Chan doesn't know that we're the two he's been searching for all this time to get
Yeah.
Shanghai Dawn off the ground.
Yeah, right.
He needs somebody that loves the property.
Yeah, totally. And I definitely fit the bill. Yep.
But yeah, definitely an interesting career there from two writers. A lot of some highs, some lows, and some in betweens.
Yeah, and potentially another sequel to Shanghai Noon.
Yeah,
down the
Shanghai
pipe
Noon.
somewhere.
Hey, they got the job to do the sequel to Beetlejuice. That's huge.
Yeah,
So
that's an
definitely,
interesting one,
yeah,
too.
definitely
Great.
putting in some good work there.
Beetlejuice. Are you excited for that movie?
No,
I really saw, like, a
not
full
even a
trailer
little bit.
for it.
Not even a little bit.
Really? I'm kind of pumped. I want to watch it.
I mean, like I'm gonna watch it and like it'll be cool to see Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice again, but like I don't think I ever needed another Beetlejuice movie, you know? And like it's another one where it's like 30, 40 years later, like, do we really need a sequel this many years afterwards?
I mean, it's not too long after the musical. The musical's still pretty new, man. Beetlejuice is a hot property right now.
God damn.
People love the Beetlejuice. They love him.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, like, it's not like I'm like, fuck you, like, fuck that, but like, I'm not like particularly like counting down the days.
Yeah, I hear you.
I was never really obsessed with the original either, so
I love the originals, and I'm excited for this one for sure.
it'll be yeah, but we'll see. Hopefully, it surprises me and it's good. I do love Michael Keaton, so that's definitely a point in its book already.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, nice. So I think we could officially close the book on that very whirlwind IMDb deep dive there, Jim, and
Yeah,
turn
that
our
was a good
attention.
one.
Yeah,
I think we should put a pin in a couple of things. We should probably look at the awards nominations more often.
because you never know when you're gonna find a really good Teen Choice Award nom
And for
hidden.
real, like we need to do a Teen Choice Award podcast
So
because I
look
can't think of anything that's more interesting to me right now than that.
for those sweet spin-offs that we start dropping. We dive in, we do a deep dive into the Teen Choice Awards. But all right,
I'm
Jim.
just saying, your list isn't going anywhere. I think we should maybe we do the Teen Choice Awards full time.
My God, my God, my God. We'll think about it. All right, Jim.
I'm just messing around, dude.
Turn our attention to the lovely star ratings.
I'm not playing it.
Joe, seeing if we would trick him this week, but he wasn't falling for it.
No, I'm not. Ebert will not say this is a great film.
Ebert will. Hey! He gave it 2 thumbs up. All right, it
No,
said so on the
his
DVD
girlfriend
cover.
did.
But all right, Jim, let's hear it. Final thoughts. Final rating. Shanghai Nights.
I mean, it's like, as Jackie Chan movies go, it's probably like one of the worst ones. So, like, it still has all the cool stuff, but like, if I'm gonna be rewatching something, it's probably not gonna be this one, like, of Jackie Chan movies. And like, it's not super funny. A lot of it's kind of lame. So, I am gonna give Shanghai Nights 1.5 stars out of 5.
1.5 from Jimbo, putting it down at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go just ahead of that. I echo all the sentiments you just said. It's just painfully unfunny, and all of the meta humor is just so tired and like annoying that it really drags down. And the only thing that kind of saves this movie for me is the fun action beats from Jackie Chan. So the fun action beats from Jackie Chan are enough for me to give this movie 2 stars. So with a 2 from me and a 1.5 from Jimbo, good enough to give this movie 3.5. And it's gonna do battle with some 3.5ers, Jim. We've got an eclectic cast of movies for a 3.5. So do you take Shanghai Nights or do you take Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes?
I'm gonna take Planet of the Apes.
I also am gonna take Planet of the Apes. That works for me. So Shanghai Nights, easy battle this week, going to slot in at the number 38 position, just behind.
Wait, hold on a second.
What?
Didn't Perfect Storm also get a 3.5?
Yes, it did.
Are you telling me we put Perfect Storm ahead of Planet of the Apes? Is that what you're saying right now?
Yes, we did, Jim.
What the hell were we thinking?
Yes, we did. The twofer of Mark Wahlberg explosions right down there.
I'm throwing the challenge flag on that one. I want to put Planet of the Apes ahead of Perfect Storm.
You wanna call an audible and move Planet of the Apes one up ahead of her. So Perfect Storm was sitting just ahead of Planet of the Apes. So
those are the only other 3.5s, right?
No, just ahead of those. Ahead of the Perfect Storm was Just Married with a 3.5, and Jurassic Park 3 stands atop the 3.5ers.
Oh my god, dude, what were we thinking? Planet of the Apes is way too far down that list. I don't know. We don't have to fix it right now, but
Listen, Jim, we said when we get to 100 movies, we were going to reshape the list and see if anything deserves new positioning. So Planet of the Apes is definitely one you can keep in that back pocket there to be moving around.
yeah, That sounds good. I think we
There you
should
go.
do that.
We,
We should go over how we've ranked the different numbers when we had 100 episodes. And 3.5 sounds like one we got to talk about.
we can
Because
do a
what a
deep
mess
dive.
that was.
Yeah, a mess of 3.5s all over the place. So we could definitely do our due diligence in there. But for now, Shanghai Nights going to slot in just behind Planet of the Apes and just ahead of 8 Crazy Nights, which is pleasant company to be keeping.
Yeah, I'll say.
There you go. Jim, would you like to take a guess at next week's episode?
Did we hit it? Well, we did the box office.
I'll give you. We did hit it in the box office. You specifically mentioned the movie.
Was it Old School?
You fucking bastard. Yes, it was Old School.
Nice. I figured that was one Rob would take you to see.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. So we're going into another comedy vehicle now, but this was a movie that I feel like came out that kind of changed. This was a very hard R, filthy R-rated comedy. This was an R-rated comedy that I remember had a special place in the list of comedy movies for us growing up. I know for me especially, it definitely shaped a lot of my humor when we were growing up in high school. So it's going to be exciting to dive into an actual one that I consider a comedy classic, as opposed to some of these other comedies that we've done that have aged particularly horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how well this one aged as well. But I remember at the time this being like one of the funniest movies. At least I thought at the time that I saw this, it was one of the funniest movies that I had seen.
Me too. And this one definitely kicks off like a whole new wave of comedy that we see going forward in when we were in high school. So
Well,
it's gonna be
yeah, and I mean, it stars some of the guys who, to me, are like pretty defining of like the whole hard R comedy genre, which is Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, are like two of the huge
ones.
names,
Yeah.
really, right?
Owen Wilson will be in there.
Well, I don't know. Is Owen Wilson in this? I think it's just Luke Wilson.
Well, he's not. Yeah, he's not in Old School, but Owen Wilson would definitely become part of like that group that you would see float in and out of all of these movies.
Yeah, yeah. But
It's like
Will Ferrell is like really like the defining character.
Yeah, Will Ferrell is like the main one, but and then you got all the ones that'll float in around them, and then not far after Old School, down the line, we're gonna get like Judd Apatow movies that are also gonna have a bunch of them, and they're gonna create
Right.
this like
Which
new
I
pocket.
I don't know if he had anything to do with Old School, but he's definitely making those kinds of comedies around this time, right? Like
Yeah.
after Old School.
Yeah, so we definitely get like a whole slew of comedies that really and Old School is really like the kicking off point, I feel like, for this brand.
I would say, yeah. I would
Yeah.
say it's like the first movie I can think of that really fits that early 2000s
Mold.
version of this bill.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun to dive into that movie. I'm looking forward to doing that next week. Do you have any recommendations to leave the people with tonight?
Yeah, I've been watching on Peacock. I've been watching a lot of Murder, She Wrote.
Oh my God.
And it's like for one, maybe the best show of all time.
It's definitely
so
a
good.
classic. That definitely,
It's
I remember
so,
watching
so
those
good.
a lot as a kid with my grandma. It was an absolute classic.
Yeah, and it's also like this interesting character study because I feel like Jessica Fletcher for Murder, She Wrote is like what every Karen who's like asking to speak to the manager at Target is like picturing themselves as. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they're like really like standing up for
these
what's right.
warriors for
Like-
justice.
But it's like when Jessica Fletcher does it, she's like solving murders and stuff. Like, whereas like you're just like abusing this like minimum wage worker at Target. So like it's just like interesting to watch like Jessica Fletcher because she really is like, I don't want to say the word busybody, but like
Oh my
there's a
God.
lot of her like telling the cops what's what and like
Yeah.
like just like moving around evidence at crime scenes and stuff. Like she's like really on the cutting edge of like what's realistic or not, you know?
It's too funny. Yeah, I haven't
So-
watched that in so long. That's
Yeah,
really
it's
funny.
worth
I have
it's
to tell you.
worth a watch, dude. It's worth a watch. There's
Yeah, I
some
might have to go
really
back to that.
great
It's
episodes.
been so long since I watched that, so I would have to go back and dive into that. That's really funny. So there you go,
Like,
people. Dive back and watch your
Basically,
Murder,
any
She Wrote.
episode where they're at Cabot Cove and like Sheriff Amos is in it, like it's top
gold.
notch.
Oh my God, that's so funny. And I do have Peacock, so I'm gonna have to go check
Dude,
that
do
out.
it up. Watch
gonna have to do
Mrs. Davis, then go watch Murder, She Wrote.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna have to do it. You convinced me. Now you just got to convince the people at home. I don't have a recommendation this week as I haven't really been watching movies or TV. I've pretty much just been watching the Olympics on Peacock.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have really a recommendation unless you're watching the Olympics, in which case watch that. But by the time this airs, the Olympics will be over, so you'll be shit out of luck.
Thank God.
Hey.
I
Hey.
haven't watched any of the Olympics this time around.
Take it easy. I love it. That's what I've been doing. So no recommendation for me this week.
What's
Go
your
watch
go-to event?
my go-to event right now, dude. All about gymnastics, bro. Watching
Oh, yeah,
gymnastics,
Simone Biles like killed
Yeah.
it, right?
so good. That swimming is really good. Too. I love fucking synchronized diving. It's the silliest thing I've ever watched in my life. I love it. So funny. Like, we need an Olympic sport. What are we gonna do? I'm gonna have you guys gonna have to dive together in sync. And if you're even a step out of line, no gold for you.
Yeah, it's got to be
So funny.
totally in sync.
Totally in sync. It's so funny. I love it. Absolutely hilarious. So go watch Murder She Wrote, people, because you're not watching the Olympics. It'll be over by the time this plays. And we'll see you next week for Old School. And as always, we'll see you at the movies.